Hello, this is New Vision TV. I am Lynn Komjisha. When the much maligned Donald Trump won to become the 45th President of the United States, many political commentators were humiliated. New Vision TV looks at how the so-called experts got it all wrong.
Many Ugandan commentators got the American election dynamics entirely wrong, and New Vision TV traces these to mostly three factors. First, many Ugandan elite and opinion leaders now rely on social media as the source of information. Yet, unlike mainstream media, information on social media is unverified. For example, leader of opposition in parliament recently, in our official response to the President's State of the Nation address, confidently quoted a social media fabrication that Dr. Kizza Besigye had made it to the Guinness Book of Records as the world's most frequently arrested person. Secondly, many Ugandan commentators do not do basic research, and most did not consider the voting patterns that alternate power between Republicans and Democrats. Many did not even know about electoral colleges until this week. So like the general public, they relied on social media attacks on Donald Trump and praises of Hillary Clinton. Thirdly, and also related to research, Ugandan commentators failed to discern the changing focus of the American voters towards a search for solutions for fixing their own problems. When the Republican Party elected Mr. Trump, a businessman who has never even had a local council office, as their flag bearer, commentators should have read the mood for change.
In other news, independent Uganda has dealt with 10 US presidents, moving on to the 11th. All of them have had to deal with Ugandan issues, some more directly than others, as our special report reveals. The 02CD US diplomatic vehicle number plates in Uganda indicate that it was the second country to open an embassy in Kampala after the colonial power, the United Kingdom, when Uganda became independent 54 years ago. It was the charismatic John F. Kennedy in the White House who was dealing with the Cuban Missile Crisis at the height of the Cold War. Kennedy was promoting the spirit of volunteerism, which saw scores of young American professionals come to work in Uganda for long periods, mostly teaching in upcountry schools. When Kennedy was assassinated, he was replaced by Lyndon Johnson, who did not directly focus on Uganda. But it was during his time that Uganda was toying with going socialist, which kept it on the radar of Washington's foreign policy watchers. The Democrats lost power in 1968 and Richard Nixon took over as Uganda's move to the left intensified with plans to nationalize the economy in high gear. A Western hand has always been cited in the overthrow of the government, ushering in military rule in 1971. Nixon was re-elected in 1972 at a time when Idi Amin was becoming more aggressive against the West, throwing America's staunch military ally Israel out of Uganda. While Nixon had his domestic problems that ended in his impeachment, he also had to put up with constant insults from President Amin, who kept offering him unsolicited advice on how to handle the Watergate scandal. When Nixon fell, he was replaced by a last-minute vice president appointee, one Mr. Ford, who did not have much impact. But in 1976, Jimmy Carter, a Democrat, was elected to the White House. Carter had to deal with the heightened eccentrics from Uganda's president at a time when the American embassy in Kampala had closed down. But so interested did he become in Uganda that his daughter came to work in northern Uganda in the mid-80s. Failing to manage a hostage crisis in Iran where some 50 US embassy workers were taken hostage, Carter easily lost the 1980 election to Republican film star Ronald Reagan. The Reagan administration was very critical of the unstable post-Amin governments in Kampala. All the way until 1986, Washington was sharply divided with Britain, which was quite supportive of the Obote II government and had sent military assistance to Uganda. Reagan maintained that the abuse of human rights in Uganda was unacceptable, while London was more accommodative of Kampala. When the NRA took power in 1986, Ronald Reagan soon warmed up to Yoweri Museveni, who had been cast as a communist in the media. Relations between the two states improved to the extent of Kampala going cool on Fidel Castro's Cuba, which had been quite supportive of the NRM revolutionaries. The Republicans retained power in 1988 and George Bush Sr. came in, continuing with the positive relations with the NRM leadership. With unpredictable strongmen like Libya's Muammar Gaddafi and Nigeria's Sani Abacha holding power in key African states, extremists getting entrenched in Khartoum and traditional ally Kenya slipping into a dictatorship, the US found Uganda's leadership an increasingly reliable ally on the continent. In 1992, the Democrats took over under Bill Clinton. Relations with Kampala blossomed, with Clinton becoming the first US president to visit Uganda. Clinton came to the country at the height of his Monica Lewinsky crisis back home, and he received supportive protection from his country's media by his Ugandan hosts. George Bush Jr., a Republican, took over from Clinton, and relations with Kampala became even better. He also visited the country. Under Bush, there was increased US funding to Uganda, with over $400 million still coming into the country's sector every year from the American taxpayer. Bush and Museveni got on quite well and reportedly even used to discuss cattle management as fellow ranchers. It was during Bush's second term that Uganda went into Somalia under AU mandate. Bush was replaced by Democrat Barack Obama, who has also served terms like his two predecessors. During Obama's term, the US committed its special forces to hunt down Uganda's Joseph Kony, and the hunt still continues. The election that has propelled Donald Trump to the Oval Office has been the most keenly followed by Ugandans in the country's history. As the world watches, Ugandans too are waiting to see what directions the relations that have been warm for 3 decades will take. And now for our Pearl of Africa beauty, we take a look at AWOJA Bridge. AWOJA Bridge is located in Ngora district along Mbale Soroti Road in the eastern part of Uganda. The bridge clearly defines the ease in the use of road transport in Uganda. It is raised above AWOJA Swamp and AWOJA River, which also connect to Lake Choga and Lake Bisina. Let's take a look.
This bridge is a blessing to the people living in the eastern part of Uganda. Some of these include residents of Mbale, Kumi, Soroti, and Ngora districts. This is because road transport was eased after its construction, which started in 2010 and completed in December 2015. Pedestrians and motorists now connect from Mbale, Kumi to Soroti district. The 60-meter-long bridge is above AWOJA River and AWOJA Swamp, which connect to Lake Choga and Lake Bisina.
And that's all we had for you. Thank you for watching. Be sure to catch us again tomorrow, of course, on your mobile phones, anywhere on the go. I am Lynn Komjisha.